Now, backing up your website and your WordPress blog is very important because at any time, anything can go wrong, okay? A theme file could go wrong, a plugin could go wrong. I mean, anything could happen that could just really mess up your website, and you will need to restore it back to where it was before that error happened, okay? And the only way to do that is to have a backup. And a backup is basically a file that contains everything on your website, all your data and all your files on one little file. And that way you can, if something happens, you can upload that little file and kind of restore back to where you were, like going back in time, okay? Now the best way to do that is to get a plugin that automates it for you and automatically backs up your databases for you on a regular basis, okay? Now the best plugin I use for that is called Backup WordPress, and I'll put a link to that on the right side of this video. And once you have that plugin installed, you can mouse over Tools and you should see Backups. We're going to click on that. And basically what this tool does is you're going to schedule it to automatically back up your WordPress website on however often you would like. By default, it's set up to 11 p.m. Every day, I believe, and it will store 14 backups on the server. Let's go to settings. We're going to change some of these settings real quick. Okay, right now it says backup, it says database only. Okay, we want that to be database and files, all right? You want that to be both of those. How often do you want it to back up? This really depends on how often you're posting on your blog. If you're only posting once a week, then you can just back up your blog once a week. That'll be okay. If you're posting 100 times a day, maybe you want to back up your blog, every hour, something like that. So it really depends on how often you are making changes to your blog. I usually go with once a week. That's good enough for me. And how many backups do you want to store? Now, pretty much if you put however many you put, if I put 14, that means once it reaches 14, it'll still keep backing up, but that means it'll keep automatically deleting the very last backup, if that makes sense, okay? So however many backups you want to keep, and then you put in an email notification, and it will automatically send you an email each time it backs up, and if the backup itself is smaller than 10 megabytes, it will attach it to the email, which is really good, so you want to do that, okay? What I recommend doing is I recommend keeping at least 3 backups downloaded to your computer, all right? If you don't put in your email address, or if your backup is bigger than 10 megabytes, it won't send you an email with the attachment to it. So you'll need to come into here and download the attachment automatically on the right side over here. It gives you a download and a delete option. I recommend keeping at least 3 backups downloaded to your computer at any time, just in case one of those gets corrupt somehow and doesn't work. You need to have them on your computer, all right? So this right here will automatically back up your WordPress database and files on a daily basis or however often you set it, okay? Now in the next video, I'm going to show you how to restore your backup in case something does go wrong. Now, if something goes wrong with your WordPress blog, you will need to restore one of your database copies and kind of go back in time before that error actually occurred, okay? Now, like I said in the last video, you should be keeping at least 3 backups on your computer at all times, just in case something goes wrong with one. Now, if you click on the download button over here, or if you have one in your email or whatever it is, you're going to get a SQL file, okay? And it looks something like this. I click on the download button, and this is what the file looks like. That's my database name, and you see it's got the .sql at the end. All right, so that's what your backup file looks like, and you need to have that on your computer or somewhere saved so you can restore your WordPress blog, all right? So now when you're ready to restore it, you're actually going to have to log into your cPanel info from your hosting account. Remember that? Your cPanel, you got your info in the email. We covered this in the first few videos. You need to log into here, alrighty? Now on the side over here, you're going to have an option that says databases somewhere along the side over here. And in that databases section, there's going to be something called PHP My Admin. Okay, so we're going to click on that. That's where we have to go to restore our database. It's going to log us in. Now on the left over here, you're going to see all your different tables. Now I have a bunch because I have a whole lot of different WordPress websites set up. But if you're brand new with your hosting and you have your one website set up, you're going to see one table over here. And it's going to say WordPress 1 most likely. It could say WordPress 2, WordPress 3. But it's going to say WordPress 1 if it was your very first time installing WordPress on your hosting. And you're going to click on that. Next, you're going to see options auto-populate over here, a bunch of tables. because this is what's currently on your website, okay? But now we need to restore this. We're going to restore everything here. So we're going to click on the import button up here. Okay, now we have a browse option. Now you need to browse and find that zip file that we downloaded. It should be in a zip format, okay? If you downloaded it from the plugin, it's automatically going to be saved in a zip format. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. When I click on download over here, see, I want to save it. Save file. It's already zipped for me. See, the zip is already zipped for me, so you're going to hit OK and save that. That's the file you're going to have to upload over here. So you're going to browse to that file. Make sure you browse to that one, okay? You're going to make sure you're on the SQL down here. Leave that check mark, that's fine. And you're going to click Go, alrighty? Now sit back, grab something to drink. Depending on how big your website is, this could take a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes, depending on how big your website is, okay? And once it's finished, it's finished. That's all there is to it. Your website has been restored to whatever version that file was that you just uploaded. And you're back to where you were before, and you can log back in and go on.